Recording.
So, our story begins on the very top of a snowy peak. The winds are howling, whipping the snow into a frenzy. The sky above is a dark and foreboding shade of gray. And the air is so cold, it feels as if it could freeze the breath in your lungs. The ground beneath is slick with ice and snow. The mountains surrounding the area are steep and rocky, with jagged cliffs jutting out of the snow in every direction. There are no signs of civilization or any form of life, save for a few scrubby bushes struggling to survive in the unforgiving environment. Despite the harsh conditions, the scenery is breathtakingly beautiful. The snow-covered peaks stretch out as far as the eye can see. The sky overhead seems to pulse with an otherworldly energy as magical storms rage overhead, sparking a number of different colors like a flashing aurora borealis. In multiple parts of the world, this storm continues to rage, suddenly striking the unsuspecting main characters of this story and forcibly dragging them into the center of this world's war. A crack of lightning slams into one of the snowy peaks, bringing with it the first chosen piece. Keith, if you could go ahead and roll me a dex save.
Fantastic.
First roll of the campaign.
9.
9. As your body is just jetted through space almost, as you can see stars shoot by your body, wind whipping past your face as the temperature around you suddenly goes colder than even your home. You find yourself smacking face down into a fluffy pile of snow, just barely breaking your fall if not for the fact that there's hard stone resting underneath it. As you take... That is not right. There. 4 points of bludgeoning damage.
Damn.
He's already dead.
I hope nobody dumped con and picked a low-level caster as you die as you hit the snow.
Face first.
I'm a 6th level. I'm a wizard at level 1 with no con modifier. You took 6 damage. I died.
I'm very glad I did not roll a wizard.
Yeah, exactly. Or I just die.
Now, you currently lay face down in the cold snow, the temperature of the ice sort of stinging your face as you sort of catch your bearings, and this very new and different location. Heath, if you'd like to describe yourself.
So, in the moment, you would see a figure in a bit of like a white cloak. Well, I use the term white, generally speaking. It was white, but now kind of red as it is soaked in blood. Carrying a great sword in his hand and wearing chainmail and a full helm. A shield on his back, warhammer on his side with several javelins. He looks like the reason he fell flat on his face, for the sake, is he was in mid-swing when all of a sudden he found himself slipping on ice that he was unaware of. And as he picks himself up, he looks about himself confused as he was wondering where the body he just struck went. But as he does so, he pats himself down, and unknowns to himself, the wounds he took vanish, as he will use his lay on hands on himself.
Pressing your palms against your body, you feel the rather nasty bruises your sudden fall have decorated your body with begin to color back to your natural skin color.
Bloody hell! Where was that? What has happened? Bard! Bard! Where are you, Bard? What the hell? Where am I? Bard! Bard, where are you?
Keeping an ear out for your new traveling companion that has stuck by your side since your rather random meeting. Nothing meets your ears other than of the wind above you and the distant caw of birds. Seems you're the only living person right now here.
What in the bloody hell? This is most irregular. Where the hell am I? I will look around at my surroundings. Do I recognize anything?
Looking around, roll me a perception check.
Oh, good. I will not. Perception. I know this is the same mountain I was on before. I'm sure of it. I don't remember this much snow, but I mean, I was in a bit of a blood rage. Perhaps a sudden storm hit when I was not paying attention, but... Bard, where are you?
Perhaps this is that famed battle high that you've heard people speak of before.
Speak up before. I've had battle highs.
And as you kind of check about your whereabouts, trying to figure out where you are currently, another loud of lightning above you catches your attention. And from it, say, Storm, roll me a dex save.
Whee! Oh, let's go.
All right. As you as well find yourself suddenly jettisoned through the sky, the surrounding imagery around you shifting like a blur as if you're traveling much faster than any horse-drawn carriage or any like thing of the sort that you've ever been on before. As suddenly in front of you, you see the rapidly impending flooring of snow, as well as an individual sort of standing off to the side. Despite the suddenness of the sudden change in location, you quickly brace your body, hugging yourself closely and bracing yourself as you slam into the soft padding of the snow, thankfully thick enough to block you from much of the jagged edges of the rock underneath. If you'd like to describe yourself, Storm.
So, my character, she has very long, luscious, purple, like violet hair. Her skin is very, it's like this lavender, a shade of lavender. She has long ears, that are like pink on the inside with this, and she is not wearing all that much. She has this very white, pure white bra that also, and this very light, kind of, it connects to like this waist piece, and she has a lot of jewelry that's gold and has like pink gems in it. And she has a lot of piercings. She has a belly piercing, a lip piercing, and an ear piercing. And very long pink fingernails. Should I show the art?
Yes, go ahead.
No,
Heath, you could do the same as well.
No,
I cannot.
we
You
can't,
have to
Nikki.
show
You
it.
have to show the art.
Oh, right.
You're the
fine.
DM.
Hold on.
Right click on
Lazy
our,
bone.
Show port. All right,
Profile.
Roderick.
So, and then when it pops up, you need to click on the top right to say show to players.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right, show portrait, show to players. So there's Roderick first. And then Esther.
Oh god, this is going to be fantastic. Is the skin
it's
color accurate at the moment? I have to know that.
And her name, sorry, it's Amarabelle.
But is the skin color accurate for her?
Yes.
Fantastic. Are we allowed to chat now, Nikki?
Yes.
My character, upon seeing this woman land in front of him, draws his blade. It looks very close, like, my God! What the? A hollet fell from the sky? Jesus. Are you all right, ma'am? You look a little cold. Do you need a cloak?
What in the hell just happened? Why is it so cold here?
I would have to assume that's the snow.
Where am I? Who
Well-
are you?
Best I can figure, this is a mountain. I figure this is snow. And, well, for the time being, you may call me Sir Roderick. Proper formalities can be done later. We seem to be a bit, lost here. Have you seen a bard by any chance about? I seem to have misplaced him.
No, I have not seen a bard. I was in a bomb room, and now that I'm here.
As he gets closer, he suddenly sees your ears. My God, you're the peasantry, aren't you?
Isn't she? Do I look like the peasantry to you?
It depends what sort.
Would the peasantry wear this much jewelry?
Well, I just assumed you were a harlot.
Rude.
Are you saying you are not a harlot?
Harlots are not. Well, I sleep around. Doesn't mean that I am not of the lowest level.
Are you saying you are a noble lady?
Perhaps. But what is it to you?
Yes, to be honest, at the moment, not much. It's just part of the gentry myself. I don't think I've ever seen you before.
I certainly have never seen you before, especially since you have not taken off your helmet.
Ma'am, we are in a possible hostile situation. It would be foolish for a man to take off his helmet in such a situation.
What hostilities other than the snow on the mountain is there?
Well, there are bandits all over these lands. I should know. I slew half of them. By the way, I still am drenched in blood.
Ah! I can smell it now.
As the thought begins to possibly cross your mind that, you might be trapped with the crazy guy alone at the moment. That's not great. Again, overhead, you hear the loud of lightning suddenly bursting loudly within the sky. This time, once again, throwing another individual across the sky towards your location. Juju, if you would like to roll a dex save.
This is going to go swimmingly.
12, okay. Again, it's very disorienting as one moment you were somewhere else and now you're here. Very cold, completely ricocheting through icy cold wind that whips by your face and through your hair. However, you just in time, you quickly raise both of your arms to shield your face as you go head first into a mound of snow. Thankfully cushioning your fall, but now you're kind of being, drenched by it as your lower half sticks out free.
Oh man. Sorry, go ahead. No, go ahead.
That's it, go ahead.
Oh fuck. Okay. So the moment the lightning hit and he was falling, both of you would have just heard yelling, just and just landing with a thud, which turns into a groan. And then in like the crater of snow that was created, a head pops up. A head that is covered with snow, granted, but you can make out just the majority of his features past the little hedges and what they called nuggets of snow inside of his hair. How do I best explain? He is a he's a man, a human man. At least as far as you can tell. Kidding. Of seems about, I want to say 5'11" in height. A decently well built frame and build. He seems rather athletic at first glance. Granted, it's difficult to see though with the garbs that he has that is loosely hung over, or whatever the amount appropriate is, over chain armor. His hair is kind of a dark brown, slicked back, though you could argue that it's more because of wind tousling than just how it goes. And certainly the snow didn't help. And what normally might have been a fair, if not slightly olive complexion, with a neat and trimmed sort of scruff that he has over his chin and the little sides of his cheek. Immediately, he gets up, looks left, looks right. Actually, no, he doesn't even... It doesn't seem like he even sees you guys. He just looks left, looks right, and just says, "Oh, you have got to be fucking kidding me!"
Can I see the
Yeah,
artwork?
the joke.
Yes, I will show the artwork now. There you go.
I need to show you the actual full thing. I'm gonna post that in Discord.
That's great.
Ah, yes.
I have a reaction possibly to this depending on how you look, so that's why I need the artwork specific.
There we are in general.
Ah, okay. You at least look not like a bandit.
Yes.
Roderick will see you go, "You, sir! What are you doing here? Are you an enemy?" And I have my blade out.
Would they tell you that they're an enemy if they were?
If they had any honor, they would.
He just, like... He looks up at you with a glare. And... I guess... Question, Nikki. In this situation, or maybe this is a question towards Heath, either one of you. Would I know who he is off, like, first glance?
I mean, I'm just a dude in armor at the moment.
Dude in armor?
Yeah, he has a helmet on.
I have a full plate helmet on. You cannot see anything but my armor.
Yeah, so, funnily enough, my character was also in... Yeah, he was in swing as well. So he's got his sword loosely hanging by. I think that's the only thing that he kind of caught himself by. And he seems to almost ignore you for the most part at first as he slowly gains his bearings. And then he sees the sword in his, like, pointed, like, is it, like, directly at him? Like, how close?
I mean, I probably didn't put it right to your face, but it's, like, you know, it's pointed at you for sure.
Right. He just looks up with this leer, just glare, and he's just like, "And who are you supposed to be?"
I am Sir Roderick, the Blessed Blade.
How quaint. Sir Andrew. And he looks over and sees the blue woman.
My name is Amara Ben.
Please type that in the chat so I can read that.
It's in the... You should be able to see it. Oh, the bell part, I guess, is in here.
Oh, whoops.
For to keep things simple for everyone, if you could like put in parentheses next to your name on the Discord server, your character's name, that'll help us with as we get used to the new characters.
Oh, I was looking at the game screen for that, but yeah.
fucking follow my neat way. I like the little slat, the fucking vertical slash. It's beautiful. I will convert you guys one day. But anyhow, he looks over at Amara and it's weird because at first glance it's disgust that crosses his features, and just as quickly he seems to draw it into a meager composure and is just, so we clearly know who's been stuck here for the longest.
What is that supposed to mean?
It means exactly what the fuck it means. Why are we here?
I have no idea. It just seems to me there was bandits. I imagine it was some sort of bandit trap.
Do you have something wrong with me?
You know, at this point, I think my character was... Oh, of course, sorry, you must be freezing. And I take my cloak off and I toss it around her. There we go. Get you warm. You are blue, woman. Like, I mean, you are frozen solid. There we go. There.
Is it a nice looking cloak?
Yeah, it's a knight's cloak.
Very extravagant.
Uh-huh.
I appreciate it. How was Rochelle? I know.
You just
Keep your arms warm.
seem sick, is all.
Indeed.
Have you not seen the people that have been around?
What do you mean?
I have no idea what you mean. I mean, unless you're talking about my bod. Are you related by any chance? You do have some similarities now that I look at you.
Fine. No.
Enough of this idle chit chat. We need to figure out how to get out of this snowy hellscape.
As you pose that suggestion, again above you hear the loud of lightning cracking down from the colorful clouds overhead. Once again, another individual comes flying down. Jesper, if you'd roll me a dex save.
All right. Okay.
Also, I hope all you motherfuckers are using Tidy 5e. Please get used to it
Wait.
while you can.
Oh,
Wait,
right,
how do I
you'll-
add the modifier?
You'll want
You should-
to
Click deck save.
Yeah, I mean, you rolled a 7. What is your modifier?
No. First of
Oh,
all,
that's plus
is he
2.
on Tidy 5e like the rest of us? Did
Yes.
anybody change the sheet? Okay.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, you're gonna want to click on like the +0 or whatever the fuck. I have a +0, but
Yeah, you click on the
I have
same.
+2.
So it'd been a 9. You got the same as I did.
Yeah, I got a 9.
Yeah, so where you see the decks and everything, if you go down to those +2, you'll see to the left is modifier, to the right is save. If you click on whichever one you need, it'll roll that.
Wait, do I... So am I on my sheet then? I'm not on the
Yeah,
simple
on your sheet.
dice roller? Oh.
No, simple dice roll is just simple dice roll is just for when we don't have a corresponding button on the sheet, right?
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
That's what we use it for. So for example, like my smite isn't on the sheet, so I would just roll it using the simple die roller.
All right, and so just like all the others, your world suddenly vanishes around you as you are siphoned through this sudden, almost like black hole, and then suddenly plummeting down towards a white, snowy field of mountaintops. The wind stinging at your cheeks, and you just barely prepare yourself for the impact and kind of shut your eyes in preparation before you slam almost like a just full like belly flop right into the snow and take 2 points of bludgeoning damage.
Okay.
And so like you're just full on just like snow angeled face planted on the ground right now.
Nice.
Huh. I guess the bods are true. They always do come in threes.
Great, the fucking entourage is here.
I proceed to make a snow angel.
Seriously?
I mean, it's more so just like my my abnormal reaction of just like I've literally just like broken my limbs and and I'm just having some knee-jerking reaction from the impact.
Needing a moment to kind of check with yourself that this entire situation is real, you begin moving your arms and legs up and down to create a rather haphazard snow angel. To those watching, it's all right. I mean, the guy seems to be kind of processing. Oh, if you want to describe yourself, Jesper.
All right. So Gant is human. He has grayish black hair, wavy black hair. His eyes are grayish blue. His skin is unwillingly pale with the hints of blue. I mean, the picture's not accurate, but it's a temporary template. And due to his skin color and other features that are not so normal, are due to some unfortunate conditions. But he managed to try to get up with a bit of a struggle. His legs whimpering, and you just see this hunched over man with his pinky in his ear, just like, oh jeez.
Okay,
So much ringing going on.
sorry to interrupt, Jasper. This is important for how I treat you. How are you dressed at the moment?
Oh yeah, I forgot. I do have clothes. I have commerce clothing though, so there's not some serious like heavy duty armor going on. Nope, not much plating, just like some very light armor on top of some usual wear.
Some leather padding. But how maintained is your clothing?
There's a couple patches here and there. Yeah, you could definitely tell they're definitely a physical labor worker. Been out all day. That sort of thing.
Do you have and you have obvious weapons on you?
Yeah, I got 2 daggers inside. Crossbow. Nothing
Fantastic.
else.
As you sit up, you're gonna have a sword pointed right at your nose.
I'm like, whoa, wait. Where's gotta.
You there? Are
Self
you a
introduction
bandit?
No. Look. I mean, I don't know what's going on. I'm sorry. I can't really hear you right now. There's this loud ringing going on, and just give me a moment, and then we can just all get some introductions, okay? It's good. But first, put the sword down, and then we can talk it out, yeah.
What do you say, warrior? Does he look like a bandit to you?
The entire time that this exchange is happening, he just kind of quietly said under his breath, it's just like, right, let's all be fucking friendly. And then Sir Roderick asks him an innocuous question, and Andrew just gives him a look, and is just, please tell me that it's not the helmet that is to excuse for your poor perception. He seems to be just as confused as the rest of us.
That doesn't answer the question, though, does it? An ignorant bandit is still a bandit.
He just like, he's kind of holding. He kind of stuck his sword in the snow while he's been holding his arms just crossed this entire time, and he takes his longsword and just like lightly taps Roderick's with his own, and it's just, you're a grown man, learn how to point that thing.
Are you referring to the sword I have pointed at the guy's throat?
Yes, and it's totally not an innuendo.
Are you saying that I should strike now, then?
I'm saying put the shit away. We have more, bigger, it's colder, and he like points at the ground, kind of dramatically. Things to worry about.
It is a bit nippy out, I admit. Fine. You may get up, sir, but I will keep my eye on you, and if you do anything bandity, I will put an end to you swiftly, so be warned!
Do you have any
Okay,
stuff that counters
I don't-
bandity?
Oh, can I check to see if I heard everything that Roderick said? Because I would think that from the previous lightning storm, I'd have like repercussions. Would I be able to check?
You are muted, Ninki.
Sorry.
Welcome back.
What's the question again?
I would say that because of the previous lightning storm, my character would suffer like some sort of like hearing
Trauma.
issues from the the second
Ah.
lightning. So can I see if I heard what Sir
Yeah.
Roderick?
Roll me a perception check.
Okay.
Three.
Hey, fellow perception man, I like it.
Right now, you're trying to kind of still catch your bearings as like just two lightning strikes all at once. Like your ears are ringing, your head feels kind of dizzy, and your body feels a little off. You're not really able to. You're not really focused on what's being said right now.
Okay.
I'm
Alright,
starting to
hold on.
think.
Give me a second. You need some sort of assistance that I don't know. What I can tell you is I do all sorts of small indie jobs around town. If you need someone to like fix your toilet or repair your roof, I could try helping that. Maybe get your a pet down a tree. I don't know what kind of pets you have, but I will let you know that I'm allergic to dogs. So if you have that, I can't do that. But yeah. I mean,
You fucking kidding me?
So what you're saying is that you are one of the... Oh, what's the word? It was, well, an artifice.
do I know what they said?
It basically
Beginning
means...
to the
Go.
ringing is beginning to kind of calm down.
Okay. Artifice.
I heard-
Yes. Yeah. Let's go with that.
Very poor tools of the trade for your sort I see on you, but I suppose... times need. I will, put my sword down. It's in a ready stance, but not, like, no longer in a complete, like, I'm about to kill you mode.
Oh, well, glad things lined up. So yeah, how about we start with introducing ourselves? Maybe I'm late to the party. It seems.
A little bit more about what you do. So you just do odd jobs sort of thing? How much do they cost?
Real quick, DM.
Mhm.
While they talk about this thing, Andrew has begun walking a loose circle around the group in search of anything, any shelter, any paths out of this fucking place.
Roll me a perception check while they're chatting.
Yes, I'm so good at this.
So we have an entire party that tanked wisdom. This is going to be great, guys. Ambushes every day.
We sure did.
Carry on, guys.
Blind as a bat.
Yeah, looking around, it's really just as far as the eye can see, especially with how snowy it is right now. It's just mountaintops upon jagged mountaintops upon jagged mountaintops, and even kind of glancing down the cliff from where you are right now, the next plot of land is quite the drop.
His mouth draws into a thin line, and he then begins to, while the others are talking, he looks at them and just maybe an intrusive thought about which one would be the first to be eaten in the event that it came to that.
We all look at Jesper's character.
I don't know, I think he might be rotten meat.
We don't know that yet.
Yes, we do not.
Hey. Let's keep our eyes to ourselves, okay? It's you know, one look is alright, but you know, it's there too long. That's it can make someone uncomfortable. All right.
Well, anyways, Artificer, my name is Sir Roderick Blessedblade, Protector of the Crown, Guardian of the Realm, Champion Attorney of Evercrest, Rooter of the Bandits of Leiden Pass, Slayer of the Viking Lord Bloodaxe, in singular combat, Savior of the village of Apollo from the Viking raids, Rescuer of the daughter of the Baron Ellenwood, Sole Defender of the Bridge of Halkin, Hunter of the Great Beast of the Forge Priestwood, Winner of the Summer Game Festivals at Billwood, Bringer of Justice to the Murderer of Caradel, Commander of the armies during the Battle of Turtle Beach, Rouser of the peasant folks of Bloomwood to throw back the raiders, and Chosen of God.
Right. Sir, yes. Nice to meet you.
Sorry, I did not get that. Could you repeat that again for me, please?
Of course, my name is...
And I will say, Jesper, or Gant, Andrew, and Amara, roll me a history check.
We're all fucking stupid too. Let's go.
This is great, guys. We are nothing but charisma characters. This is just, we can all talk, but that's all we can do. Talk and kill people. Murder hobos away.
Oh, that's deception, Andrew.
Oh no, you didn't say my name, and it was also because I'm attempting to hide something.
Okay. And... Oh, did you roll your history check?
He rolled his earlier, remember?
You-
He already
you-
knows
you
my
didn't-
character.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, you did. Right, sorry, poor memory.
No, your memory actually served you right because you didn't say my name in the roundup.
Yeah,
I did?
you
Oh.
didn't.
You did not.
It was accidental, I guess, but you did.
Plan failed successfully.
Alright, Amara, yeah, you have no clue who this fucking guy is. Who does he think he is? Gant, the name kinda rings a bell, actually. You feel like you have heard of someone by the name of Sir Roderick?
Oh. Okay.
After he
Actually, I don't know what exactly it is, but I feel like you seem familiar for some reason. I mean, sorry, a lot of things are really foggy right now. I've been having a lot of memory loss going on, but you know, nice to meet you, and I think we could get a better acquaintance. Seeing the situation we're in right now.
Indeed, officer, sir. But, excuse me. Everyone, I would like to ask you, Olo, to keep an open eye for my bard. You can't miss him. He's about 7 feet tall.
Yes, you've
floppy
mentioned
ears.
this 3 times now.
Well, he wasn't here for the third one, was he?
Could you repeat your name again? Sorry, I didn't catch some of it.
Which one are you
Who are you
talking
referring
to?
You.
Who are you referring to?
Sir Roderick.
Okay.
Do you really want me to go through the whole accolades again, or are you just...
No. She's just doing it on purpose.
Okay, yeah, he will go through
Andrew
it.
glares at her.
He'll go through it again. He does not mind giving his accolades.
As you guys are sort of forced to sit through Sir Roderick going through all of his mini titles once again, you feel the longer that you're standing here, the cold wind begins to sort of seep further and further into your muscles. especially you, Amara, the way that you're dressed, it's very cold. Even with the help of the cloak that you were given, you can still kind of feel it every time the wind brushes past your legs and shoulders. And what's that?
She's also like the way she's wearing the cloak. She could cover more up, but she's choosing not to just expose more of her body.
I appreciate that.
Just like me for real.
She just like me for real.
This is gonna be great. Roderick knows what he's calling her.
And so as you guys are sort of standing there chatting as well, you can kind of feel with each bit of time that ticks by and you guys are standing out within this cold, the more it's starting to kind of cause a shiver to kind of course through you. And these temperatures, staying within these temperatures, just as you guys are, as you had been unprepared for this sudden change for too long, might result in some consequences.
Andrew's just gonna look at them, and with just a couple of words, he says, "All right, are we surviving or not? I'm not waiting for any one of you any longer."
Oh, of course. We do need to find something.
Surviving sounds good. You guys like surviving?
One moment.
Okay.
Oh. Sorry, it wasn't me. Who was talking?
Oh, it's right. It's fine.
I was just putting like some noise, basically saying the same thing.
Oh, fair enough. Roderick will, of course! And I will go into my pack and light a torch.
I will also be doing this.
All right, so the two of you strike your torches alight, casting a. Oh, jeez. What's that?
That's a torchlight. I
accidentally.
I hit the placer.
Oh.
I got it.
Striking a mediocre flame that offers a little bit of light within the dark expanse of these mountaintops, as well as a bit of warmth. You get the sense it's not going to really do enough to kind of keep your bodies from reacting to these cold temperatures for very long.
I just
You
want to
need a
see.
larger fire.
Well, let us move forward. We will need to find shelter or a place to stay. Looks about a bit. I lost my footprints. There was a town around here somewhere, as I recall.
Andrew just starts marching.
Just
Uphill
a
or
random
downhill?
He's going to attempt to make an informed decision off of, say, animal tracks and any like natural ways out of this fucking place.
Amara will also haphazardly look around.
I would like. Actually, my survival isn't much better. Actually, it's the
I
same
don't think
as my.
Any of us.
No, we are gonna die out here, guys.
Yeah. No, it's fine. Andrew's amazing. He's
So-
got this.
Ironically,
Roby-
the person we need is Zaki. He didn't dump int or wisdom.
Roll me survival. Both
Got
of
it.
you. Oh,
God, I'm so good.
You know what? I guess Roderick will join in. It sounded like he's planning to freeze to death. We should all probably hope to see if we get lucky.
Oh, not to get lucky.
Oh, okay, it's not too shabby.
okay.
What about you, Dry Bone?
Come on, Artificer.
Alright.
He may not be looking, so I don't want to
survival,
force him.
right?
Yeah,
Survival?
if you are using a survival check, we're not forcing you to make a survival check. It depends if that's what your character would do.
I see everyone trying to do it, so I'm gonna do it too.
Okay. Oh god.
Hey, Roderick's got the best roll. Here we go.
All these zeros. Okay.
I'm proud of myself for having no
Better than my -1. I'm still the least perceptive in the party.
So, all of you kind of take a bit of time, sort of investigating the space that you're on. And with a sort of some careful kind of towing at the edges of the snow, as you don't want to suddenly accidentally plummet to your death. You sort of test to see where you guys might be able to kind of work your way to a lower sort of platform upon the mountains. However, as you begin sort of towing at the circumference of this plot of land that you're standing on, you realize that there does not appear to be any actual pathing that can be taken. Looking upwards, there's plenty of rocky, snowy cliff that you could potentially try to climb. However, Roderick, with your perception, I would say you can see ice clinging to it rather firmly, and that would be quite the dangerous attempt. Same thing going downwards, as the next plat of land is about an estimated, you're thinking between 50 to 70 foot drop down. Again, the edge of the cliffside looking very icy and cold. For a moment, it kind of crosses your mind, Roderick, that you might be well and truly stuck, which is strange, considering you remember taking a path up this mountain. So, where did that path go?
Peculiar and peculiar. There's no way up or down this mountain. This is, odd. You seem to be on a plateau of a sort.
At that, Andrew's eyes, he just blinks. DM, is there a possibility, how do I word this? I want to look for, I don't know, any caves, any divots in the rock that can at least provide half shelter in this winter landscape.
I won't have to roll a perception since you're just kind of checking the sort of platform area that you're on right now.
Could I argue advantage or a lower DC given my character's backstory?
I think Nikki said you weren't going to get you to roll at all.
Yeah.
Oh, kill me.
Looking around, literally the only thing available is, you know, sort of scattered rock, which maybe you could attempt some kind of lean-to on, but they're not really formed in a way that you think you could make a successful one. There is one tree growing up from the roots upon this area that you guys are standing on. However, any leafage above that could have offered some kind of shelter is gone, and it is just completely just dead.
How
Bark.
tall's the tree?
How wide is the tree?
Width, I'd say like 5 feet. As
That-
for height,
It's a
It's
thick-ass
looking about-
tree, Jesus.
yeah. Or wait, that's not 5 feet. This is 5 feet, so that's. Hold on, me. No, 3 feet.
Okay,
And-
that's as wide as Zacky's tall. Damn.
Yeah, 3 feet. As for height, it looks like it stretches maybe about 10, 12 feet or so.
I think we could make this work. And if we don't want to freeze to death, we'll have to do some sort of makeshift shelter.
You said the tree's dead, right? Like
Yeah.
old? And it's still upright?
Yes.
Do you think it'd be possible to hollow it out?
Dude, it's 3 feet.
Oh. 3 feet tall?
No, 3 feet, like, depth. Like, we
Wide.
could hollow it out, but,
Well, a dead tree is generally weak.
yeah. I just don't know if we're going to be able to...
I think it means for room.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
think we're going to be able to fit in it. I have Roderick does have a plan, though.
Oh yeah, 5 feet of width. Okay, no, I get what you.
Yeah, like, it's not going to be able to fit any of us. Maybe one of us could get in there? So we can start fighting to the death.
That's perfect.
Also, you would have to have the right tools to hollow out wood.
Andrew's just like, I only care about me.
Andrew would make it work.
As you guys kind of.
You that warrior, I have a plan.
He just stares at him, blinks, and kind of like nods, like I'm listening.
Okay, quick. I see that this tree is tall enough that we might be able to make some sort of makeshift tent out of it. Do you have rope
Well,
on you?
I do.
Do you have a bedroll?
I do.
Perhaps if we put our bedrolls together in a proper way and tie them together on this tree, we might be able to get at least some sort of shelter moving from the branches up top. Kind of make like makeshift leafage.
He does another long blink. And he just says, "Sure. What else can we do anyway, other than fucking jump off?"
Then hopefully, if we can get a drier spot, we could make a fire.
As you guys are talking, you hear overhead the storms that had brought you here still rumbling up in the sky. A number of different colored clouds of reds, orange, greens, blues flickering overhead with this low of unsparked lightning building up.
That is an odd amount of lightning for a clear sky.
Oh no, not again.
Could you quickly describe the sky again?
It's a number of it's like a moving aurora borealis of clouds of different colors, and you can kind of see the flashing of unsparked lightning within its depths.
Unsparked lightning? What does that mean? Sorry.
Like lightning booming high up within the storm clouds, as if it's just a matter of time before.
Oh!
Yeah, like
Okay,
lightning that
you're
hasn't
thinking-
come down to the ground. Yeah.
You're thinking sheet lightning.
Yeah, sheet
Yeah.
lightning.
Yeah, when it's hits down, it's a leader strike. There's a reason why I was so excited about this campaign, because I love weather. Anyhow, but okay, yeah. He just looks up at the sky for a moment, and funnily enough, when I'm forgetting names, Gaunt says, "Oh no, not again." That's the exact same thing that Andrew kind of mutters to himself at seeing the sky get a little fruity for a moment there. Before he just looks back over at Roderick and is just, "All right, fine, just tell me what to do." And
Well, I believe who here is probably best at climbing this. We will need to get up there with the bedrolls and spread them across the branches properly to hopefully form some sort of roof.
he takes one good look at the thing and just says, "I'm not doing it."
You there, artificer!
Wait, what?
You look fairly light. And you said you were the type of man that could
myself.
climb
Yeah,
trees
you're
and
right.
get cats and such. So here we are. Come over here.
All right, sounds good.
Okay,
sure, what
hold
do you do?
these, and I will slap the freaking bedrolls into your arms.
You think for a second you think you hear like kind of like a light pop in your elbow, Gant, but you kind of wiggle it back into a less uncomfortable position.
There we go.
Okay.
And then we're going to take this rope, and I'm going to tie it around your waist.
I do like a slight smirk, and then just have no facial reaction after.
And then I'm going to take one of my javelins and tie it to the javelin. Tie the other end of the rope to the javelin. And then I'm going to toss the javelin up over a tree branch so I can get kind of like a pulley system going.
Okay.
On a
Sort of-
dead tree? I'm ready. No, I'm so ready.
As you ready the javelin in your hand, Roderick, and throw it with a heavy arch of your arm, overhead the rumbling clouds soon spark brightly again. And before the javelin even makes contact, a giant, even larger than the ones that you guys had seen before you were suddenly transported here, bolt of lightning strikes down upon the platform you guys are all standing on. And in an instant, you are in a different location.
No fucking way.
God damn.
We're getting teleported again.
Did we just die?
Oh,
Is it
no.
loading for you guys?
98%, Neggy.
Okay.
Yeah, loading.
Oh, let me take Zaki off the map. There we go.
Oh, Zach. Where is our Zaki is no longer like an optional character. We need someone who actually has a whiz and int score in this party. God.
You'll be fine.
It's okay. They'll just get teleported like 3 times to catch up.
Yeah.
3 times the lightning bolts.
I guess this is also be a good chance to see if you guys are able to load this one.
Well, we're seeing. It's still a loading.
Giving final hours from Majora's Mask. If worst comes to worst, I can for this map. Thankfully, I can remove the animation.
Okay.
As long as everyone else lives.
Still loading.
I'm having a very intimate staring contest with the 98%.
Yeah, okay, I'll remove the animation part.
Well,
Let's see. Alas.
It is one of the things, problems with the Foundries. Lets you do a lot of stuff, but you need some really good connections and proximity.
Unless you
Oh wait, did I not
host-
save the?
Unless you're on a hosting service.
Yeah.
Let me do a. Did I really not save it?
Oh no.
Are you guys stuck on 98?
Still, but let's.
yes. I can wait. I mean, another good minutes.
I mean, we can still like use imagination of the theater of the mind, Nikki, till it loads.
Yeah. I'll do that, and at the same time, in the background, I'll also get the non-animated one. All right, so. Again, you guys are suddenly jettisoned to a completely new location. However, the atmosphere around you still remains a very uncomfortable cold. As you find yourself suddenly standing upon a new plot of snow. The javelin that you had chucked, Roderick, lands no longer at the tree you were aiming for, but rather upon an ice-covered lake, cracking into the floor, the ground of it. Thankfully, despite the sharpness of the weapon, not hard enough that the ice shatters.
I mean,
appears
if
that
Yep.
it appears that the strength of the ice covering this lake is rather sturdy. And as you kind of take in your sudden new surroundings, you spot a flight of stairs leading up to a new landing of some kind upon another snowy sort of settlement. In order to get to said stairs, you'd have to cross over this iced over water.
Sorry, because my brain did a funny. Could you give me like a super recap of what? Because I caught ice and a land.
we're on a frozen lake.
We're on a frozen lake.
and you see stairs across that lead to something.
It like in the middle of the icy lake.
Yes,
Up or down?
up.
Where do the stairs seem to lead to?
Another sort of not hill, but some kind of structure that appears to be built on this lake.
Sent. Going.
What's that?
I am going.
Okay.
He catches his bearings after being teleported a fucking again, and he just like looks a little red in the face as he just starts marching forward.
All right, you just start marching across this frozen water towards the stair, I assume.
Yes.
Okay, I'll bring you all the way across. You guys watch as Andrew goes ahead and takes the initiative, quickly stalking across the water with a rather huffy, annoyed stomp to his step that
Maybe not a full stomp, but it depends because the ice is it's fucking ice. So
yeah.
yeah.
But still, based off of the slight edge of heaviness to a step, it looks like the ice is still thick enough that it doesn't look like it's gonna give underneath your guys' weight.
Oh, I load.
Oh, you loaded! Yay!
I'm still waiting.
Me too.
Did you even load the last map out of curiosity, Storm, after all
I
that?
did.
Oh, you did?
I did.
Okay, so it
I
does
did.
load.
I said it like ages ago in the chat.
Okay. I guess for now then, Juju, if you could share your screen for the others while they're loading.
Fine. Wait, actually, how am I gonna do that without showing my sheet?
Close your sheet.
I
Also,
mean,
the
I
sheet
can
the
do that.
sheet has a
I
pop
can
out
bring it
button,
up.
Judah.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, just pop it out, then you don't have to worry about it.
Let's see. Share screen. Is this it?
You able to see?
Yeah.
Yeah, just stop Judah's. There we.
This looks like a high res map.
Yeah, this looks really.
It's
This-
cool though.
A fucking glowing
Yeah,
crystal in the middle of the road.
Nikki, did you add our tokens to the map yet?
I did.
On the other.
Okay, we're over there. I see him. Yep.
All right, so you
It-
guys saw Andrew storm across. What do you do?
Well, I suppose we shouldn't leave the warrior to venture further himself alone. Tally ho, friends, and I will go after the running off mercenary.
I shall follow.
I'd say Gant's still recovering from that recent Wait, hold on.
Wait a minute. You know what's
Yo.
funny is I still am holding the rope, so you are actually being tugged by me at this point.
Alright.
Can I skate across?
Oh lord.
Roll me acrobatics.
No, I cannot.
The minute your foot kind of touches the ice and you make an attempt to sort of just balance on one and do sort of like a
Judah, don't forget you're still.
kickoff, you find yourself kind of quickly slipping, and before you can face plant, you quickly steady yourself by like sort of spreading your legs really quick, and then realize, all right, nope, not doing that again, and walk to follow the rest. While Gant, you are unceremoniously dragged across the ice, just sliding right across, as Roderick seems to have no issues dragging your weight over, as you're still tired.
Ah, I loaded. There we go.
Okay.
Alright. Do I need to roll? Anything?
No, you're just being
Alright.
being dragged now.
I'm getting ragdolled. Sick.
Yeah. So, you now stand at the base of the stairs, you guys. Above just sort of a little ways out of your line of sight, you hear sort of a distant murmur of just like a crowd of people.
Do we get like a churchy vibe from this look?
What vibe do we get?
It's not so much churchy based off of the look, but I would say that this location kind of fills you with a sense of...
Oh, you know what, Nikki? There's some other thing. We forgot one other thing about Roderick. Wait a minute, my bod's not the only thing missing. Where's my horse? That's...
Andrew? Andrew. Sorry, go ahead.
As if on cue, at the very top of the stairs, just kind of casually lounging, Andrew, you would have seen this first as you were the first to approach. You see a starkingly white horse with piercing, almost like violet-colored eyes that it looks in your direction as you stand there. And Roderick, as you quickly follow after, you soon see her as well.
As I do, I should... Zinthai! Good girl! As I will just run up towards her, with the guy still roped attached to me as I am dragging Gant right behind me. So I dash up the stairs.
I think
it's a little more comfortable being pulled up the stairs as, like, with each step you just have to be
Andrew is going to step up and around this freak show, and he's going to begin looking for wherever the origin of that voice is.
Good girl. Have you seen the barn lately, good girl? Things have been quite strange.
As you talk with your horse, Andrew steps past the three of you, towards the sound
Amara
of the
will
voices.
follow.
Amara as well.
Yeah.
Oh, you're loaded on here now?
No.
You just still look Judas screen share.
I'll move you. There we go.
I did it.
As you approach closer to the sounds, Andrew, you see what appears to be almost like a dining setup, like what one would see within the hall of a ballroom for a party. And it appears to be where the source of these sounds seem to be coming from. However, you don't see people or anything of the sort. Instead, rather, amongst the flickering lights that seem to have been set up within the center table of the circular dining setup are these almost three-dimensional shadows, outlines of people almost, talking amongst themselves, lifting unseeable teacups to their lips, dancing with one another. And
Are there
go ahead.
Are there chairs, and is there physical teacups that she can see? Or is it hard to distinguish between the spiritual teacups and the ghost teacups?
There does not seem to be actual physical dining sets, just
Okay.
tables and rugs.
Just tables. Okay.
As they're looking at there, Roderick will ride up on top of Zentha, his horse, with the, of course, still being dragged behind him. This time attached to his horse's butt because he's got a tie. As Roderick doesn't even realize that's happening yet.
Is there room for two on that horse?
Am I still conscious?
So conscious.
Unfortunately.
Oh, of course.
Lived through all of it.
Of course, madam. I will reach my hand down and pick you up if you want it up on the
Okay.
horse. Good girl.
Immediately, your horse kind of settles down back to a laying position, refusing to move.
Oh, Zephyr! Why are you always like this in these situations? Is there something in my head you don't like again?
There's just this huff of air through her nostrils as she turns her head and stares directly at Amara.
Is there something wrong with me, horse?
Her name
There's that.
is Zenith.
Just continues to stare. It's a horse, it can't talk.
Andrew's gonna keep walking forward, and this time he sees these floating silhouettes. He blinks immediately. It's fake, and he just continues walking around. It's just, hello, anyone here?
As soon as you step closer and call out Andrew, immediately, all at once, the voices, the dancing, the drinking, and even the distant music of like a band playing just goes dead quiet. And although these figures don't seem to have faces, all their heads seem to just suddenly snap in your direction and stare. All of them freezing now and unmoving as they watch you.
Andrew continues speaking. I don't understand what type of ball this is, some sort of hide-and-seek game. But me and my compatriots found ourselves stuck here against our will, and we were wondering if any of you kind, invisible folk would be so kind as to helping us get back. With at least some of us have important things to do.
Gad just immediately is like, oh wait. Are they talking to someone?
That's not like imagine.
I guess I should mention as he says this, he's like walking around to each table, like literally like looking under tables and fucking just like moving shit around. He's so determined to find somebody and does not think these figures are real.
They do not respond. However, their heads, if you could really even really call them that, the silhouettes of heads, turn to watch wherever you walk. Just watching, not saying anything. And as you look around underneath the tables, you just find the rugs that have been prepared underneath. On top of the tables, there's candles set up upon the center of each of them. No utensils or plates or anything like that. It's just empty.
Is this place at least indoors-ish?
No. You're still very cold.
As he still was, Roderick will get out Xanthi and go, very well, girl, I know how you get in these moods. If you wish to stay, you may do so. I will go ahead and see what is going on. As he just marches forward.
Wait.
By the way, we're still with freaking Canada.
I'm like kind of thinking, wait, I know you're having a good conversation with your horse, but someone please untie me.
Doesn't
No, it's not heard it whatsoever.
Andrew basically just ignores this thing. This is happening, and I'm gonna do a quick roll just to see something real quick.
Actually, so am I. I'm gonna see something as well. This is whether I actually notice if you're there.
Cool. He flips the table over with just a roar of frustration.
Oh! Artificer, you're still there.
Easily enough, you flip the table over. There
And
seems to be no reaction from these shadows.
I don't know what interaction he was looking for, but at the lack of any, he grows far more frustrated and just starts ranting. He just like, great, I'm stuck with fucking 3 idiots in the middle of goddamn nowhere, and nobody seems to be able to help.
So, that is no reason to turn over someone's furniture. This is obviously someone's home. Oh!
Don't you have a horse to be talking to?
She's in one of her moods.
Of course, the fucking horse has moods. Not even the animal can be fucking normal.
But in any case... Oh, you... Artificer! I didn't realize you were still attached to me. One moment, I will drop the rope. There you go, there, sir.
I'm just blankly staring, just kind of like. That's all you hear.
In any case, I'm sure someone must be here. Sirs, I am Sir Roderick of Blessed Blade, Protector of the Crown. He starts going off on his entire accolades. May I see the lord of this home?
With silence.
I get up, dust myself off, and death staringly side-eyeing Roderick. I'm just like, I. And I look back straight in the distance.
Amara walks up to the light. That's in the center. Like, there's glowing lights in the center, right?
Yeah,
There's
like,
a
where I am,
There's
basically.
there's a number of candles set up there.
Okay. Is there anything about him?
Roll me investigation. Checking it over, there doesn't seem to be anything special or strange about them. They're just, other than the fact that you don't know how long these might have been sitting here, but the wick that the flames are burning on don't appear to be deteriorating under the heat of the fire.
Question, DM. It's still cold up here, right? We're still freezing.
Yes.
Perfect. Roderick will turn over to the warrior. Warrior, come over here. Perhaps this area here we could build a fire in. It does seem to be able to contain flame.
He just. Wait, sorry. What was Roderick's plan?
Basically, let's build a fire pit in a place we know fire can exist.
Which is all in that
Right here.
middle area.
Yeah. Where the candles are.
Oh, even a better idea. And he goes ahead and grabs the carpet from underneath the tossed table and starts dragging it towards the middle. Look, we even have kindling.
Oh, I suppose we could do that. I'm sure they won't mind. I'll replace it better. By the way, Nikki, Roderick looked at the carpet. Does it look like high class? Would he consider this like high noble, or is this peasantry?
Considering your background, I won't have you do a roll. It's high class carpet.
It's a shame. It's rather high class goods.
I'm sure
Can
it'll
Amara
make
tell
even a
it's also-
better tinder.
What's that, Storm?
Can Mara tell it's also high class carpet?
Yes.
What a waste of good furniture.
Well, if no one is using it, we might make use of it, no?
What about that table you knocked over? I'm assuming that's wood?
Andrew takes a second look at it. He really forgot about the thing the second he was done with it.
Checking over the table, it does appear to be very fine wood.
He walks back over, takes the other thing in his hand, and now it just makes that uncomfortable scratching noise across the ground as he drags it towards the fires.
Most unpleasant, but I suppose it is necessary to keep ourselves alive. The needs must as the devil drives, as they say.
As
Yeah.
we're doing this, Andrew, you guys begin to sort of hear the very distant tinning of a high-pitched noise. Almost like sort of like a obnoxious ringing, just barely audible, that gradually grows louder and louder and louder. Until soon you find yourselves unable to do anything but sort of clutch at your ears as it begins to rattle inside your skull. And just barely can make out some kind of voice. Almost attempting to whisper, but their voice is so overbearing that it comes out more like a rattling shout as you just hear, "Come."
Oh, whoa.
Come.
Excuse
Andrew's
me there,
gonna pretend
ma'am.
like he didn't hear that.
Roderick goes, oh, it seems to be the the owner of the home is here. Hello, ma'am or sir. I couldn't quite make out make out what it was. Hello there. I am Sir Roderick. And he goes off with his accolades.
Come.
Are you going to take me out for dinner first, or?
I was gonna make that joke, but that's not something Roderick would say.
I am very happy with this character story. um,
I'm so glad he got the harlot part down first try.
and amongst it's finally with this voice kind of rattling amongst your guys' heads that you see these shadowy figures begin to move again as they curtsy and bow at the lot of you, and one in particular sort of gestures pointing over towards the pathway that Andrew is standing by.
Gosh.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but I'm freezing, so I'm just go.
Well, it
And,
would be rude not to accept an
no,
invitation.
Yeah. What Sir said.
Very
Let me
good,
the
Artificer.
fuck out of here.
Let's go! I grab the Artificer and just drag him along.
As
Once
they're
I-
all headed. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead. I was just saying, oh yeah, when I finally got like unbounded by.
As they
Kind of
all
rope.
move up ahead, Amara's gonna roll up one of the carpets and put it in a bag.
Can you carry it?
Is it possible to carry it?
Because carpets are heavy, man. They're like 30 or 40 pounds.
I guess.
are.
How heavy is the carpet?
It is heavy, but again, this is like D&D rules where like you have a carry capacity of some
That's
sort.
why I'm
so-
asking what his carrying capacity is. I assume strength wasn't one of his
Yeah.
freaking features.
Yeah.
How
How what?
how heavy is it?
I mean, it's a full like it's a large enough carpet to allow a dining table that sits about 6 people to sit on.
Oh
Okay,
god,
Um,
that's
she
a
won't
30
roll.
or 40
Yeah,
pound carpet, easy.
Yeah, she won't bother.
I'm surprised she
Okay.
didn't roll up and put it on the horse.
No, she's trying to do that without you noticing. But
Kinda
just gonna
hard,
say-
kinda hard to take a 10-foot carpet and roll.
yeah, I didn't think it was that big. I think our tokens are a little big. I thought the tables were quite small, but they're not. Oh, I finally loaded in. It's a miracle.
There we go.
Yay.
Woo!
Yeah.
And now we switch maps.
No.
And then another level.
Also, by the way, Jesper, if you click on your token and drag it over, you're able to move it.
Oh, I moved myself. Okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
you also can use the arrow keys as well.
Wait.
Can-
Why am I just blinking? What?
Oh, if you hold the mouse button, that's pinging.
Like on anything that isn't your character.
So
Can
how
you
do I
not
try-
move your token?
No.
Weird.
Nikki, did you give him permission on his token?
I thought I did.
You said you want to exit the foundry. What?
Can you double click your token to open up your sheet?
Yes.
Then you have your token. So just click on your token once, and then move the arrow keys, and that'll also move them.
Okay. Let's try this.
Apparently, you might not
While
be.
the game is currently paused.
Oh, the
What?
game's
Oh,
paused
he-
for you?
He's in the past.
Oh no.
I mean, you might have to reload.
Yeah,
He's
you'll
in
have
the
to,
past
you'll have
tense.
to
He died
reload.
from several concussions.
That's why you gotta glitch.
Alright.
You've got the pause game. The pause game glitch.
I was also in the past where people
One
were
second.
a lot further back than where they are currently. But
I'll stream
not
again if you need it,
reloading.
Jasper.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll move you until you're back in. All right.
98.
98. 98.
So where do you guys head?
Yeah, I think it's just drag me because I don't know when I'll be.
Yep,
able
I'm
to
moving you.
do this.
So where are you guys headed?
I mean, we're
He's-
moving
Andrew's
forward.
just trudging forward.
Yo, forward,
He's-
Roderick right behind him, and I still have Gant like right behind me as Roderick has found another person
He's
to
just-
lead around.
He's just walking and just has his right hand just buried in his head as he scratches at it. Alright, what the fuck is this?
Once more, you see another shadowy figure, now standing right in this location here, point towards the stairs.
Roderick does not notice it because he doesn't have the perception. But he will look at this statue.
What are those things next to the statue?
They appear to be offering tables. The ones you might see within a church.
Great. We have fucking idols here as well. Just the type of people I want to be in fucking company with. And he just starts grumbling to himself and continues going forward.
Speaking of it, what is the statue of, Nikki?
Standing there appears to be a faceless being, dressed in a, sort of like a toga garb of sorts, with these large, lavish angel wings behind them. It appears to be a faceless angel of some sort.
Gotcha.
Ow.
For a second, I thought it looked like a devil with those horns. I'm like, hey, if that's accurate, he's smashing that thing immediately.
How well crafted is the statue?
Roll me. I'll say. Roll me investigation. 5. I mean, it's like any other statue you've seen in any other church, really.
She just gives it one glance and then continues onwards. Wrinkles her nose in disappointment. Amateur.
So I'm dragged along with Roderick, right?
Does,
yes,
does Roderick
No one
see-
has freed him yet.
No, I'm just dragging him now. Purposely.
Oh.
Like by the arm, yeah.
You just have your hand on what his fucking scruff.
Pretty much, I'm dragging him around like he's... do I see so you say those are offering tables.
Mm-hmm.
Do I see a box of alms?
A box of what?
Alms for the poor, it's basically the coin box.
No, surprisingly, no. Rather, you see, sort of like an empty place, sort of like where one would place fruit.
Odd. Must be for the peasantry. He will go into his pouch, and you'll pull out a ration and put it on the alms. Always good to show your honor, respect for the Church of God. And he will then come back and start moving along forward.
Okay. While you place, wait, what did you place? You said?
A ration. If it looks like it's food's what the alms is what's supposed to be given, he puts some food on there.
Okay. What's sort of running through your mind as you do that?
Respect for guys like, oh, hail the great God, as he does his normal prayer. May watch over me and those, guide my blade to strike evil.
Andrew? Sorry, go ahead.
All right. As you do that, you feel a warmth settle within your chest, as if the gods themselves have acknowledged your offering. And I gotta do something on my end. Okay. Continue.
The paladin being a paladin. As he moves forward, it's like, well, I think we have an interesting experience happening here. There. Hello, sir! I assume there's a priest in this area!
Silence.
Real quick.
Oh, yep.
Okay.
Andrew, after Roderick had done so, he's actually going to backtrack from where he was at first, and he was going to also go back and give up a ration.
Okay. What's kind of running through your mind?
Can I DM you it?
Go ahead.
Awesome.
Okay, your characters just earn a point of respect from Roderick. Ah, a man who definitely knows how to treat a god proper.
Hmm. I don't think I have.
Hmm.
You guys can continue
Why am I-
while I'm getting my message.
Oh. I kind of want to like tap on Sir Roderick and be like, "Oh, sir, actually, I'd like to pay respects to the offering table as well. You mind if actually if I just pass by real quick?
Oh, of course, Artificer. Go right ahead.
All right, thank you, much obliged. And I will also wait. Do I have rations?
Everybody starts with rations. Nikki probably forgot to put them in your sheet.
Andrew's
Yep.
going to non-ceremoniously cut back to the front.
Are you You're offering something, Jesper?
Yeah, I'm also gonna offer rations, but I'm like, I don't have much of this. And I'm gonna tell me to regret it, but it's for a good cause, and my parents would be very knowledgeable about this. So
It's running through your head as you set it down.
I'm endearing you.
Okay.
Roderick, trendsetter.
I suppose I shall put one down myself then.
Great
Okay,
job, guys. We're already forming a pack mentality.
Then you as well, Storm. What is running through your mind, Amara?
She's doing it because everyone else is doing it.
So nothing.
That
Nothing
is
at all.
so real. That is
She's
so
just like,
real.
she wasn't gonna put one down, and then everyone else did, and she's like, well, everyone else is doing it. I'll put one down.
When in Rome.
Okay. And let's see, Jesper. Okay. Let me mark that.
She's literally trying to win favor with everyone else in doing this.
All right,
You
so
loading yet, Jesper? Sorry.
Andrew, Gant, and Amara, as each of you kind of follow Roderick's lead and place down a bit of a rationed offering on the offering table, an odd warmth kind of settles within your chest. To Roderick, it doesn't mean much, as he is a rather pious man and prideful and proud of who he is. For the rest of you, though, it's a little odd. It's kind of too cold to be feeling any kind of warmth. Kind of wonder maybe if hypothermia is starting to settle in.
Andrew pounds his chest and just mutters to himself, indigestion.
Gant kind of straggles, constantly pounding on his chest with his palms to see if there's I don't know, something that doesn't belong there on his chest.
A loose
It's
rib.
Yeah. It's like, oh. Nothing out of the ordinary. Then I carry on.
As you guys continue onward, that music that you had been hearing before begins playing and meeting your ears once more. If it will go. Hello.
Hello.
Oh, okay. Andrew, with you stepping ahead, at the top of the stairs, there appears to be much more light than what you had seen. Oh, Jesper, did you move your token?
Yeah, I did. What's going on?
Here, let me move you back where you were.
Thanks.
Oh my, bro teleported.
There you are. All right. Andrew, as you step ahead, you see a large, again, almost like the space that you had been before of the dining area, a large ballroom platform, something of the sort. A number of numerous lights surround the entire circumference of this stage almost. Within the center is this large blue light, like a massive globe almost. Lights flicker across this area like fireflies, numerous fireflies. And at the very opposite end, you see what appears to be a throne almost of some sort. And as you step forward upon this area, you feel tug almost, like you're being drawn towards this bright blue ball of light within the center.
Can I try to resist it?
Me a charisma save.
Is he being pushed towards the light?
Like physically?
Yeah.
No.
No, okay.
Sorry, I heard Christmas save.
Christmas save. Real. We have to save Christmas!
Christmas.
Oh, this is what's causing all the lag. I
Yeah.
see.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Oh.
I mean, Judy.
It was on purpose.
Yeah, now this feeling that you should approach now turns into a need. You feel that you'll gain something of value to yourself if you were to step forward.
Roderick just kind of pushes up behind him. What is it that you see, sir, warrior? Oh, wow, this is a...
He starts moving towards
Wait.
it a bit
Does
too
Amara have
quickly.
Hold
Does
up, don't
Amara
leave
have
me,
the
hold on.
same?
What was that, Storm?
Does Amara feel the same?
Yes, as each of you step onto this platform, you feel this desire to approach. And Andrew, as you're the first to step forward, right before this giant, glowing globe, you squint your eyes, peering into its contents, and within it, you see yourself. As if staring into a mirror, two images of you. One where you appear to be adorned in the finest suit of armor and surrounded in gold and nobility. People of high profile smiling at you and shaking your hand and laughing. While another version of you stands within your normal wear. Fire kind of dances along your fingertips as you wave it through the air. Which do you find yourself being pulled to more?
Is that a trick question? Gold. New.
You're gold, you said?
Yes.
All right. Instantly, the other image of you vanishes, and the one of you dressed in the finest garb, surrounded by the finest people and the finest coin, grows larger and larger and larger within the space, before it seems to dissipate, scattering like almost like an exploding star. Its essence soon drifting towards you and into your chest. And you guys watch as Andrew's chest seems to kind of glow a light. The cold of the area around you disappears as you are just enveloped in this warmth. And hear a chuckle off in the distance somewhere, almost if it's in all directions. And I am going to message you something.
Nice.
One second. So, you now can have this.
Oh, fuck yeah. All right. Do I kind of return to my senses after this, or like what
Yes.
happened? Okay, yeah. The glory of this situation is wonderful, as he seems to be caught. His fervent itching that was previously happening ceases until it kind of dawns upon him, and his body grows stiff. And he seems to control his features. I mean, he's facing away from everybody, so yeah. But he looks past the globe. Does there seem to be any exit or anything? Like, we're inside something now, right?
Like out in the open. However, you're surrounded by very like large walls, sort of like casing this area in.
Out in the open, but large walls.
Yeah.
What about the throne area? He's just gonna keep moving.
Okay. What are the rest of you doing?
She touches it. Like immediately after Andrew does, she like does as well.
Okay. Amara, as you step forward, peering into the ball, just as you had kind of observed Andrew doing, you see two objects. To the left, what appears to be a collection of paints and paintbrushes. And upon looking at them, you are drawn to this sort of feeling of, what's the word? When you think back on a memory,
Flashback?
no, a feeling.
Reminiscing?
I'll just use a different word. Melancholy. As it sort of reminds you of your first ever set that you were given. And then look to your right within this space and see what appears to be a seal of some sort. Peering more closer upon it, it's made out of solid gold and has the royal seal plastered upon it. And you recognize it as the royal seal that is granted to those whose talents have been recognized amongst the monarchy, the chosen few within the capital. Which draws you forward more?
Oh god. I'm gonna make a save.
Okay.
Okay. She looks like she's gonna go for the royal seal for a moment. And she thinks upon it. And then she takes the first paint set.
Okay. Let me... real quick. All right. You reach forward, and again, like a star shattering into 1,000 pieces, the essence of this image pulls forward towards you, centering upon the middle of your chest and encasing you in this vibrant warmth and comfort, almost. And somewhere, again, just in some direction you can't make out, you hear this satisfied sigh, and with it, you get
Drugs.
books. You said?
No, I said
Drugs.
drugs.
Oh, drugs.
Even better.
You get this.
Whoa, a Vorpal sword? That's crazy, Nikki. I can't believe you would give me a Vorpal sword.
Yeah, nothing like a Vorpal sword for the warlock that can't even use it.
A plus 5 Vorpal sword that warlocks can use?
Damn. It's based off charisma? That's crazy.
Oh my god. Okay.
Question, Nikki.
Mm-hmm.
Are these visions personal, or does everybody see them have them?
To the rest of you, kind of just observe, watching this happen. It looks like those who step forward just kind of zone out for a second.
As she zones out, Roderick will just walk up to her and goes, "Excuse me, miss, are you all right? You seem to be a bit, well, how do I say this politely? Out of your fucking mind."
She, like, blinks a few times and looks over towards you. What do you mean out of my fucking mind?
I mean, you have a blank expression on your face, like nothing's there.
Why don't you touch the glowy circle and maybe you should find out, no?
I mean, he looks at the blue circle. It's a big blue circle.
And what harm would it do?
Who knows? Maybe it's in with the bandits.
Perhaps it is a bandit.
They're
Maybe
gonna-
you should try to kill it.
Roderick will approach it closely and look right up at it.
Drick. You peer into this giant ball of light that seems to have grabbed everyone's attention. And looking in, you see a single, almost blurry outline of an individual. It looks like you, but you seem to be wearing something other than your armament, and you can't quite make out what it is. And as you squint more and more, trying to get a better look at it, you feel something warm press against your back. The sensation of arms wrapping over your shoulder and a hand caressing your cheek. Before just, again, in a direction you can't make out, you hear a light giggle before the sensation fades away. And I'm gonna message you.
Wow, you got him a deck of many things? That's crazy.
My character looks back as, I don't know what you're all worried about. It's just a big blue circle. I mean, it's pleasant, I'll admit, and it seems harmless enough. Honestly, all of you seem to be just so enamored with it. It seems a bit odd.
There's
I
nothing
was
to
not
do
worried
with the
about
fucking
it.
thing.
My character's just like trying to look over. His hands right above his the ridge of his eyebrows. It's like, hey, what's going on over there?
Well, look at it, a
Why y'all
big
keep it to
blue
yourself?
circle.
A blue
It's not a-
circle? All right. Yeah, I guess nothing weird about that, but okay. I'll take a
Are
step
they-
down.
Are they thrones?
Yes, that appears to be a throne.
She's
Gant,
holding
you
this.
as well are also feeling oddly drawn to this. Amara, as soon as you step up onto the throne. Can you roll me a dex save real quick?
Oh boy. Oh, that was private.
18.
Nice.
Okay. Thankfully, you're pretty quick to react as you feel almost like this invisible force has grabbed you around the center of your body and thrown you as you are flung across this entire space over back
God.
towards where Gant is standing. However, you're very quick to quickly adjust the movement of your body and catch yourself on your feet as your hands drag along the floor to stop the speed of which you've landed and stop you from hitting the wall.
That would have been a 50 feet fucking throw. I would have died.
5 feet, 5d6. Yeah, that would have killed you.
Andrew looks bewildered at this thing and immediately kind of reaches for the hilt of his sword, but like slowly approaches.
I'll be like saying to Amara, like, "Whoa!"
Is anyone there?
Oh, whoops.
What was that? Some sort of trap?
Are you both stepping up as well?
Absolutely.
Oh my God.
Roll a dex save.
Dude, Amara's very tempted to be like.
I mean, I wasn't gonna go on the throne. I was stopping where I was.
I'll
Andrew,
show you the-
unfortunately, really, he thought a seat would be nice.
Andrew, roll me a dex save.
Understood. I'm great
I'll
at
show you
these.
to throw me off this throne. Fucking runs back, fucking sits on it again.
Oh,
Oh,
Goodbye,
alright,
Andrew. We knew
roll-
thee
roll.
well.
dude, write a manual D2.
what?
Roll a manual
Roll.
D2. Yeah.
I love double one.
All right. Gant, roll me a dex save.
Oh.
oh.
Of course, it's Gant.
No way!
And this is how 2 party members die.
12. Okay. So before your bum even touches the seat, Andrew, you are completely wrapped up. It's almost like giant hands have suddenly grabbed you from legs to torso. Before you are lifted and chucked across the room, just as you had seen Amara done, through this ball of light, directly in the direction of Gant. Gant, you managed to just barely react in time, quickly raising both of your arms to kind of soften the blow as Andrew goes headfirst into you. You guys tumble down the stairs. Taking
Oh, jeez.
This is very homoerotic, by the way.
3 bludgeoning. Thankfully, you don't take any damage, Gant. Andrew, you are sore all over. Surprisingly, despite how far you were thrown, you don't land as hard as you thought you would. Of course, it still hurts to go directly into another solid person.
How tall is Gant?
I originally wrote 5'10", but yeah, 5'10".
Okay, so roughly the same height, but I imagine very different builds. Yeah,
Yeah.
probably like getting smacked with a boulder, considering he's also in armor. So,
Yeah.
yeah. 1 second, I accidentally killed my character. I need to use a different push to talk key. There we go. Okay. But yeah, that happens, and he just. The way I'm imagining it is just like smack, tumble, and then kind of like pins. They just sprawl apart from one another as that happens, and they finally arrive at the fucking floor. And he just blinks, disoriented, but not as badly as he could have been, before he looks over. And he just leers.
Warrior, are you okay? That looked painful.
I'm alright. The scraggly one broke my fall.
Ah, suppose artificers are good for something then.
Like,
He gets up, does not help you, and just starts walking back.
Roderick will look at the throne and just speak to it. Goes, "Excuse me, is anyone there? If you are, that's a heck of an arm you have."
And just to Jesper, was there anything that Gant was doing?
grunting and like, yep, that's a good way to say hello. And then I just like, well, I was gonna pat them, but they seem to have gone up just fine by themselves. And
Okay.
I will push myself on my feet and try to make my way down.
All right. What do you do as you're feeling drawn as well towards this orb? Do you shake off the feeling? Do you embrace it? What do you do?
I will shake my head and blink twice, and then see if anything different happens. Like, it's the big blue circle of amazingness that everyone seems to be gravitating towards. So, yeah, I will do that action and then see what happens next.
What action?
I'm like shaking my head and blinking twice.
Ah, got it. Okay.
And then as I'm walking slowly approaching the circle, seeing if like I'm actually seeing what I'm seeing.
Which circle? You can move your token as well.
Oh, I imagined I was already. Whoops. Okay. What was I? Okay.
Got it.
Fuck.
Okay. So, despite this
Sorry.
kind of encouraging tug that you feel towards the center, like the rest, you kind of just give a little shake to your head and take in this odd atmosphere that you guys are currently standing in. Roderick, as you approach the throne and sort of call out, there's no sound. And also, this is where we're gonna hit our break. So go, get snacks, go to the bathroom, do whatever you gotta do.
Screams, runs to get food.
I gotta shut my blinds. I don't want people looking in my room.
No, no.
People.
How dare. I will pause recording. Remind me to start back up again when we're done.
All right. So, as I said, Roderick, as you kind of step forward and called out into the space, you are met with silence.
So I see a throne before me. What does it look like exactly?
So you see what, rather than the standard 2 seats you would normally see set for a king and queen, there appears instead to be a singular, lavish throne with a smaller one set beside it. The one in the center is rather large, much larger than any sort of normal-sized human could. It doesn't appear to be meant for a regular human. However, the seat beside it, looking just as lavish, does appear to be prepared for a human to sit on, though it is much smaller and not quite as lavish as the center, but still rather. It stands out.
God, I know what's going through Roderick's head right now, and if this works, I'm gonna laugh my ass off. So Roderick sees the giant throne, and what he's going to do is take a knee and do the symbol of the cross and do a quick prayer.
Do you pray?
Basically the classic "Oh, of our Father, where art thou" prayer. Basically the church equivalent in this case of the classical prayer to God. As
Okay.
in his mind, that's God's seat. And then he's
As you guys see this happening, you notice that the numerous lights circling around this entire space appear to begin kind of shifting, swaying back and forth, reacting to this.
And as he
What?
does,
Amara touches the blue bowl again.
You put your hand in. You can. It's kind of like a translucent sort of coloring to it, so you can still see your hand through it through like a bit of a bluish tint. Nothing happens.
She looks disappointed.
okay. And as Roderick finishes praying, he will stand up and says, "God, may you find me worthy to sit on your right hand." And then he will sit on the human seat.
Oh. Gant will look
Gant
over.
and Amara, roll me perception.
boy.
Nobody's
Nice.
we are never gonna see anything in this game, guys. Nikki doesn't have to worry about describing anything. We might as well just put the blinders on and go.
Okay,
Nikki's just
Andrew isn't
written-
even looking, guys.
You didn't ask
Nikki,
me, so I was just assuming.
I said Andrew first.
You didn't.
You did it, Nikki, or your mic dropped. One of the
Oh,
two.
my mic cut
Yeah.
then.
Yeah.
Just add. Okay, I'm gonna do it.
Nikki just writes all these descriptions. We just never roll high on perception. Nikki's just like, okay, cool. I guess I just won't read these out.
Certified
Yeah.
D&D moment.
13. Okay. The rest of you don't notice. However, Andrew, as you're kind of seeing like these lights around here swaying, as Roderick takes a seat on the side throne, a number of them begin to much more violently shake, flashing a more brighter red color. Yeah. It seems, at quick glance around, it seems like they're many of them are very violently shaking now.
Amara's about to go stand and sit on the other human.
There is no other human throne. There was what normal. There's the
Is it
giant
not?
throne, and then the human throne on its right side.
Yeah.
And not that it's shocking. Godric assumes that is for the man to the right hand of God to sit by.
Okay.
That's
I
how he's
just thought
interpreting
because-
his throne. That's how he
I-
justified you guys being shunted down the thing by an invisible force. God's seat. Got it.
Andrew rolled his eyes the moment he noticed that things are going the way that they are. All right.
Is there anything else you guys are doing?
Andrew is going to walk up and he's going to do his own prayer.
Okay, what are you gonna say?
It's going to be mostly mumbled. I can message it to you.
Go ahead. One second.
I'm just pinching my nose, the bridge of my nose.
We might not die after all. Maybe. I can bring one person back from the dead. Providing I just don't instantly use it on myself again, because my character doesn't know how that works.
You, as you're doing this, Andrew, you hear again that same distant chuckle that you had heard when you had touched the light within the center of the space. The rest of you see the lights begin to kind of slow down a bit. However, as Andrew's prayer sort of reaches its end, they kind of return to their aggressive shaking as Roderick continues sitting where he does.
Now Andrew is going to attempt again to sit down on the throne.
Okay.
Wait, you said there are two. Wait, was it just one or two human-shaped ones?
One.
Or He's going for the middle.
Okay.
I'm very smart.
All right, throw me a dex save.
All right. Don't worry, guys. I'm gonna ace this test.
You're gonna die.
No, I'm not. Dex save.
Natural one, number 2. Oh.
Hey, it's pretty good.
It's above
Once
10.
again, this time you're a bit more prepared for it, as once more you feel your body suddenly gripped and thrown across the space. You kind of quickly drag your feet onto the floor, the ground, before you can impact with the opposite wall and take any actual damage.
Imagine he used a sword to dig it into the ground to like help halt himself.
Yes.
How does he react to this? He gets up angrily and just begins to march back straight forward for that fucking throne. It's just like, all right, I don't know who the fuck you are, but you're messing with the wrong knight. March, 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 march. This time he's gonna be a bit smart about not sitting on it again, though. And he's gonna start looking around. Something has got to be hiding here. He knows it.
Warrior, what are you doing? Why do you insist to sitting on the Lord's chair?
While they're bickering to each other, I'm gonna go walk up to the blue orb.
Okay.
Yeah.
Stepping forward, Gant, you peer into the ball just as the others had done before you. And there you see two figures. One, you, as you currently are. You look rather refreshed, like your cheeks a little flushed as if you had just taken a very warm bath. You're smiling and laughing and just kind of a sense of enjoying just being. You feel warmth and excitement swell up within your chest before you glance over to the other image of you. You seem to be almost translucent, ghostly in figure. You're standing before a grave, staring down at it quietly. Eventually you watch as this image of yourself steps in and settles to lay down, sort of folding your hands over your stomach, and a sense of calmness and peace washes over you. What calls out to you more?
I'm gonna try to tilt the upper part of my body to look past the orb, being like, y'all seen this? Towards the throne. And then I'm just gonna reach over for the more refreshed one.
Okay. 1 second.
I'll just try to grab some blue stuff.
You're gonna try to grab some blue stuff, you said?
Yeah.
Okay. 1 second and I'll describe that. Me still getting used to this sight. Okay. Let me send you something. All right, I messaged it to you. And so, that image of you laughing, smiling brightly, grows larger and larger, taking up the space before, again, exploding like a bursting star. Its essence drifting towards you and warming the center of your chest. And as you kind of reach forward, trying to grasp at the rest of the inner workings of this ball of light, your hand just kind of clasps around air.
Oh. Then I just walk forward, like, shrug. Then I just try to meet with the rest of the group. Towards the stairs.
Okay. And as you step forward, suddenly these various balls of light around you guys begin to shift and sway once more. That distant, sort of high-pitched tinny within your ears begins to start rising up again, louder and louder. It reminds you almost of the dining area that you guys had just walked past, where there's just a low murmur of people, except now it's just so high-pitched and loud, you just can't make out anything that's being said. As it becomes to grow louder and louder, and you feel your head beginning to hurt once more, the space around you all just goes this sudden, bright, flashing light of color. And Roderick, you find yourself momentarily alone in this vast white space of nothingness. Looking off in the distance, you see, at first glance, you think you saw a woman. However, as you kind of shake your head and look once more, the figure appears to be a tall man, muscular, with long white hair. You can't make out his face at all, though. And Andrew, you as well find yourself in the space now alone. Looking off into the distance, you see a large, large figure, larger than any mountain you have seen before, seated with his chin resting on his fist, staring down at you. Amara, you also find yourself in this space alone. Looking outwards, you spot the outline of a young man, wearing garments that look almost silky. And Gant, you also once again find yourself, just like the others, in this blindingly white space alone. And looking across, you spot what appears to be a woman hovering, her legs pressed together and her arms sort of outwards as if she's just sort of floating there. Her hair moving outwards as if she were resting in water. And in an instant, you guys hear the loud crack of lightning. And next moment when you open your eyes, you find yourself once again in another location.
We're just getting thrown around.
As
Prepare to load them maps, boy.
I will so those as Roderick does get teleported. If the first thing he says, God has accepted me as his right side.
God.
Indeed. This only feeds into his ego that he truly is the chosen of God. He sat on the throne. He was the only one not thrown off of the chair, and he saw God in his vision.
And so, as you look around, you guys are now back on the top of a snowy mountaintop. However, as your eyes begin to kind of adjust to your surroundings, you realize you're not in the same space where you had first started out. Yes,
Nikki,
there
black
is-
screen.
I know, you
Oh,
were
okay.
using... It's not an important one for this, so...
Okay.
Theater of the mind. What was I saying? Oh, actually, I should probably just bring you to here, actually. I'm swapping you again, sorry. Again, just snowy mountaintops like before. However, you can now see a little ways off in the distance what appears to be an unfrozen lake. You are now closer towards the base of the mountain, and you can now see that there is a bit of a space you can actually safely track down without any issue. In the distance, you guys hear kind of the murmur of voices and spot what appears to be 3 figures off near the waters, appearing to be tying down a boat of some sort.
Andrew's going to. Sorry, go ahead.
Is Xanthi with us?
Is what?
My horse.
Or
Yes.
Roderick will go and get back on top of his horse. Well, it looks like we are finally ready to move forward. Let's go see what those people are. Move forward, girl! And I will urge her forward to ride towards the common folk before me.
You don't suppose you could still give me a ride on the horse? On Sand 3?
oh, buck up. He just starts walking forward.
Again, just goes, meh. It's good to see people again. I just start walking forward.
I get with them
Roderick
walking ahead. What do you do, Storm?
Does Roger just continue on?
I mean, Xanthria is kind of driving the horse right now. If the horse doesn't stop Freya, she's moving forward. She's got her own mind.
Understood. She'll just huff and continue walking then.
Yeah, but for whatever reason, the horse doesn't like you.
How dare it? All right, so you guys trek your way down the mountain pass, much more safely now, as there's no longer a fear of suddenly tumbling to your untimely death at the very base of jagged rock and ice, sharp ice. The figures at the bottom appear to be dressed rather warmly, obviously prepared for this weather. As you move closer, it appears that, at least based off of their figures, it seems to be 2 men and a woman, all of which have these sort of hoods, heavy hoods placed up over their heads, surrounded by a tuft of warm animal fur. One of them is tying up the boat towards what appears to be a dock now that you can see as you get closer. A small dock, not meant for any sort of ridiculously large boats. Another one of the individuals appears to be sort of readying the ends of an arrow with a knife, while the third one appears to be a woman who is tying knots to a net of some sort. And as you guys, are you guys just kind of boldly walking forward, or?
Oh, Roderick is literally just on top of his horse, marching towards.
Andrew's not far behind.
Yeah, Marvel.
I'm going.
Okay. As you grow closer, you guys are able to begin kind of like making out a little bit more from at least the woman's features as she's facing you guys. The other 2 men have their backs turned towards you, and as you approach, her face kind of lifts for a moment before she turns and just says something to the 2 behind her, and they turn their attentions your way. As she sort of slows down her nodding work as you guys grow closer and just says, didn't expect to find folk out here.
Sorry, good.
What did She kind of glances back towards the dock area, then back towards you guys. Did something happen to your boat?
Yes, an ice fissure, you know how that goes. We're just trying to find a way back.
You know, I just have to ask, Nikki, do they get exceptionally confused with the fact there's also a horse with us?
Yes, they look very good. The woman's face, especially as she kind of lifts her head to get a better look at you guys, it's then that you notice something a little odd. While she appears to be a middle-aged woman with long black hair, her eyes are this oddly strange yellow color, and the skin around her cheek, jaw, and mouth seems to be almost scaly. She offers you a small smile, Roderick, as you approach, and just says, I don't believe I saw a boat large enough to carry a horse of that size. Did you pass through a different direction? Are you from somewhere else?
Let us say we have somewhat misplaced our location, ma'am. Could you tell us where we are, good woman?
Please.
Of course. Well, these are the Winter Peaks, north of Drodale.
What the fuck is that?
Oh.
That is the very, very northern part of the continent. Every single one of you are far from home.
Oh, okay.
Do we
Oh.
know that? How good's our geography?
Well, I guess roll me an intelligence check.
For how far is Marglaive from Drodale?
Marglaive is...
Because I know they're both in the north, but I know that Drodale's higher.
Yeah, Marglaive's, is sort of on the same plot of land as Drodale. It's a bit of a trip still, but...
Okay, then I suppose Andrew isn't too intimidating.
Yeah, I actually rolled decent.
Intelligence.
Do I have to roll 2?
If you'd like to know where you are.
Fuck it, why not?
I shall roll. That's,
Alright.
what history check was it?
No, it's just your
I-
intelligence.
Oh, all right, I guess.
Don't sound so excited.
I mean, if it was history,
Fuck.
All right then.
Okay. Yeah, you guys, I mean, geography it's a whole thing. Like, yes, you know Drodale, but if someone were to give you a blank map and told you to point where it was, you wouldn't be able to really pinpoint that. Roderick, though, you do know where the Winter Peaks, the Snowy Peaks are, Winter Peaks are, as it's a rather prominent sort of location, one of those places where people haven't really settled down there because it's just too cold, too dangerous, due to its weather. It's just not really a location people go to, other than Drodalians.
Is this where the Raiders are from?
No.
Okay, just checking. That's a good question.
This motherfucker.
Indeed. Well, we did get off course, didn't we? Well, my good sirs, I don't suppose you could tell us what the nearest local town is from here.
Before the woman can even speak up, one of the other men, the one who had been tying down their boat, turns towards you and steps forward. He appears to be a very thin, tall, lanky man. Couldn't be any older than like 20 or so. He has very sort of shaggy curly black hair on top of his head, sort of a light tan complexion, and just like the woman as well, his eyes are this odd yellow color. However, you do notice that the scaling on the woman seems to be stretched on his features a lot further, as if scales have just completely grown from his forehead down to his chin.
I'm going to notice that, and the only thing Roderick can think is these people need a bath.
As the man just says, there's Drodale and Marklave, and then Seasons Road between it. I think it'd be a lot better if you were to head to Drodale, really. Especially if you're not used to, familiar with the snow.
I am familiar with snow, but I admit this is more than I'm used to. Drodale, you say? Well, which direction is that?
Does Worm from snow much at all? I don't think so.
Not really. I mean, wintertime, yeah.
Yeah, I gotcha.
At your question, Roderick, the boy points towards the waters behind him.
A bit of a harsh swim.
If you tried swimming, you'd die shortly after. The temperatures are just not survivable.
Right. So, how would you suggest us getting there?
At that, the second man speaks up, the man who had been sharpening one of the arrows. He's rather short, shorter than your average person for sure, and a lot more kind of stout in shape. He has this very kind of like heavy black beard around his chin. It's kind of misshapen, as if he'd tried to shave it a number of times, but it eventually just kind of gave up on it.
Is he hot?
That depends on what your definition is.
Speaking like a
What your
general
preference
sense.
is.
I can't say that. Let's just assume this person we're talking about doesn't have standards. How would you rate them still?
Well, I'd say like a 5 out of 10.
Okay.
Very middle of the
Duly
road.
Duly noted.
You guys wouldn't know this, but as out of players, he has a very dwarvish stature.
Well, I mean, we
And-
technically would still know what a dwarf is, just not like the fantasy version.
Well, maybe, because dwarves are. I mean, dwarfism as a.
That's what I mean.
phenomena
Like
vary.
we could recognize a person who may be short by the
Yeah.
medical term.
By
Yeah.
that, but not by the fantasy though.
Yeah, not
that's
by
what
the
I mean.
fantasy. Yeah, we would just think he's a
Got
dwarf in the sense of like, oh, that's one of the people who were born short.
No,
Yeah.
but I'm like, you have to see that. This is different.
He kind of nods to you guys and then nods towards the boat. If you guys are looking for a ride back, we could let you hitch a ride with us. We're just in the middle of finishing up our hunting, but if you're gonna be wanting to hop on our boat, we can't offer that for free. So you're gonna have to help us bring back some food if that's what you're hoping for.
Well, good sir, you are in luck. I am Lord Sir Roderick, and one of my great feats was defeating one of the great, hunting down the great beast of Peachwood. What sort of game do you have in these parts?
Andrew starts scratching again.
Wow, big shot. Alright.
You see the guy kind of like squint a bit before just giving a look on his face, which is like, okay, whatever. Before continuing on, as he's just like, just your usual rabbits, deer, fish.
Ah, Roderick seems a bit disappointed. Small game then.
Aye.
No bear anything around here you need to deal with.
Oh my god.
How about wolves? Get wolves around we could deal with.
I mean, not around these parts. You'd probably find them around the woods of Drodale, though.
Hmm.
I have an idea. Seeing as I'm fit for all, I mean, I could fire a crossbow, perhaps, but that's about as much as I could manage. I don't know if you wanted protection while you hunted, and an extra hand or hands to carry things.
I'm a dab hand with the javelin, I say as I take one of my javelins out.
Yeah, try striking a fucking bunny rabbit with it.
Oh, I've done it before. This is
The,
not very sporting.
the woman speaks up again, just says, well, while caring would be helpful, we need you to help catch as well.
I could do spear fishing. I've heard that's a thing.
Whatever you want to do, if it brings food, it'll work.
Andrew just makes a wide gesture with his arms in the area and does like a half spin. It's just, what, you're having a hard time finding game in this bountiful land? The howling of the snow continues.
Yes.
He's being very sarcastic. I don't know if I have to say that.
So worry, don't worry. God's bounty is everywhere. One just needs nowhere to look.
Well, again, the younger man speaks up. We don't typically only kind of come here for fishing, but, and most of our hunting is done around the woods, but, there's been, a beast roaming about that is making hunting around our usual area.
He slaps the back of his knee. That's more like it, a beast to hunt! Tell me, good sir, where is this creature, and I shall do battle with it!
Ganta smirks with his arms crossed, like enjoying the moment.
Andrew is seething internally.
You don't have to shout. I'm right here. I mean, like I said, it's back home. If you want to come back with us, I'm sure.
Indeed, sir, God must have brought us here for me to handle this beast. Well, that is why we came here, my friends. We are here to hunt this creature and help these people.
He kind of like looks towards the rest of you, like giving a look of just like, is this normal?
Andrew just... I don't know what face he's making. It's either he's like fucking dissociating, or he's just... His itching has gotten a little bit bad. Can we just move?
Yes, can you take us to your town?
We can fight this beast or whatever that you're dealing with, and then you can take us back. Deal?
I mean, the beast is back home, so we still gotta
Gotcha. And he starts walking.
So the beast is in your town?
The younger man looks towards you, and then kind of does like a double take before just kind of quickly looking away and nodding.
Does he look like he's admiring Amara, or is he flushed? Is he mad? Well, what's going
Insight
on?
check.
Oh, there we go.
21.
Horny, curious, or some third sinister thing.
You're familiar with bashful folk. You get the feeling that he's definitely not used to seeing a lady as loosely dressed as you are. A pretty lady, let alone that. So you get a sense that the flush on his face is less from the cold.
No
and more
kidding.
From,
Oh.
How old does he look?
at around like 20 or something.
Scantily dressed women don't normally live up here. And I mean that literally. They die very quickly.
Is
She'll
he hot?
saunter up and kind of like with the tip of her fingernail, just kind of trace it along the back of his neck.
He
Yeah.
squeaks. Hello.
You'll get us home, well, back to your town nice and safe, won't you?
Yeah. Yeah. We could do that. And the woman calls out again. Of course, after you help us hunt.
That's fine.
Indeed. So, where should we look for this bountiful source of animal and game?
The older man speaks up, the dwarven one. Well, anything around these parts should do. Just, I wouldn't recommend going too far. What with, and he gestures up towards the storm happening above. With all that going on, there's been all sorts of creatures and such roaming about. So, it's better you stay within line of sight.
Creatures, you say? Dangerous, are they?
Possibly not edible. We're looking for food.
Ah, non-edible creatures. Is that
No, please, just let him get lost in there. He half whispers that.
The woman kind of arches a brow at you and then looks at your very odd group and just sort of says, I get the feeling you're not traveling compatriots.
Oh,
What
rude
gave
of
his way?
us. I have yet to introduce myself, good sir. As he will clear his throat, look at the three of them.
Andrew is going to clear his throat louder and just say, "That's Sir Roderick. I'm Sir Andrew. Those two have name."
So yeah, to be fair, I just met these fellows just today, but I assure you that they give good company, so you're in good hands.
I certainly do.
Just hear nervous coughing beside you.
Andrew actually looks back at Gaunt like he's stupid, and then at Amara, and then looks back at the rest. Just going along with the show.
Two sirs, though, huh? Don't think we don't really get knights around our area.
Yeah, well, first time for everything.
Yeah, well, introductions. My name is Damara, over there, and she gestures to the shorter man. That's my husband, Porco. And she gestures to the, gradually turning redder and redder by the minute, man that Amara's standing beside. And that's our son, Newt.
Names are so
Or Newt?
familiar.
Newt.
Newt, okay.
She turned me
Like-
into a newt. I got better.
Our names are so similar.
Like the tiny little lizard.
Oh, what's your name?
Amara.
Oh, one letter off. It must be fate. And she gives you a bright smile.
How old does she look?
She's a middle-aged woman.
Okay.
Well then, I suppose we should go off hunting, my friends. We have much food to gather for these good citizens. Tally-ho! And I kick my horse into gear to go hunting.
I guess we're going hunting.
Andrew-
I mean, if you need someone to protect you in case there's anything dangerous, I mean, I know a little something. You guys does this like really awkward karate chop.
As you know what? Just because I can go ahead, Storm.
Oh, sure, if you want to protect me.
Yeah, I can. I can do that.
Andrew is going to place a single hand on this man's chest and just look him dead in the eye, and he will say, oh so ceremoniously, "Stop shaking, son. Your balls are going to fall off."
He looks down instantly, like in a bit of panic.
You hear another phrase from the thing. If he doesn't fall off them, she'll take them when she's done.
Your horse gives a little.
Andrew just starts. It's funny because it's giving wet cat energy. Like, and that's the only way I can explain it. Like, he's trudging in the snow because he doesn't have fucking snowshoes or anything. He's just trudging along after this night that he does not fucking like. And it's just wet cat. Like, that's the only thing I can think about.
Not
It's
just the
a
night.
a certain type of, like, kind of pathetic.
Not just the night on the Cadillac of horses.
Right.
Just who is completely dry because he's on top of a horse.
Alright, we're gonna do skill checks.
Oh, good. Here we go, guys. We are going to bring back no food.
Speak for yourself. Andrew's gonna ace this.
Alright, so first, Roderick, what are you going to do?
I guess Roderick would, they asked for small game, so he would kind of, see, you know what? He's going to let God lead the way. He will let the reins go, and he will lean down his, okay, girl, let's find some food for the nice peasant folk, and just tap her on the side and say, lead the way, my majestic mare.
And she's just gonna be like, food for peasants? Sits again.
roll me animal handling.
Not like that's any better.
Andrew's so good.
13! Actually, a lot better than it could have been, yeah.
You see her just kind of stare at you for a long moment, and you get the, like, you wouldn't, she's your horse, Roderick, to those watching, you get the feeling that if she were a person, she'd be giving Roderick a very deadpan stare. However, eventually, you see the horse kind of turn her head off into the direction of the woods, kind of slowly walk forward. Listen out for a moment, her ears kind of turning every which way, before eventually her head, she begins heading in the direction of a little sort of, what's the word? Carved out inner workings of a large tree. There appears to be a nest of some sort there.
Like a rabbit burrow, or?
It's hard to see until you get close. As you step forward, you see something furry, seems to be kind of bundled up on itself, a singular creature inside there. And as the horse approaches, it lifts its head, and you see the face of a very little young fox. Its eyes are this large brown color, its ears very big. Its head seems to be a little bigger than the rest of its body. It's definitely still young.
God has chosen you to die this day.
Yeah, I'm like, God, I personally, as a player, I'm like, I don't think I can do it, but Roderick would be like, you have been chosen to be sacrificed for the good of the people.
Here's the picture of the creature.
Of course, you have a fucking picture.
Of course she threw. Yeah. God, there's a meme of this that's fucking from a web cartoon where Mario murders a baby Tanuki to get the Tanuki suit. This is what's happening.
And you see as the horse kind of keeps her head down towards it, and the fox kind of curiously uncurls itself from its little ball it was in, it very lightly boops the tip of its nose against the horse's.
How does the horse react?
It kind of shakes its head as if like a dandelion had kind of got stuck in its nostril, and lifts its head up.
Roderick will go, is this a friend or a meal, girl? I'm not sure. What do you say? 1 day for yes, 2 day for 1 day for a meal, 2 day for a friend.
the rest of you are also seeing this as well. As the horse seems actually it must be a very smart horse, well trained, because it responds back with a single.
Meal it is then. He stabs the fox.
Seeing that Roderick seems to be able to take care of this, he's gonna start looking elsewhere for other game.
You just made me kill a baby fox because you're cruel today, and he's like, I'm gonna make Heath suffer for this one.
Oh, don't worry. If he didn't kill it, Andrew was certainly going to. He had his light crossbow ready.
With your dex, you'd probably miss and hit me.
He'd probably miss, but you know what? You know what? He'll
Alright,
try.
1 second. I gotta do something in the background real quick. Da-da-da, and there we go. And 1 second. Da-da-da. There we go. Okay. So, it's a baby. It takes no effort at all to spear this creature through its torso. Instantly, the creature yips with a high-pitched yelp of pain. The almost like innocent curiosity on its face, soon dissipating into a surprised pain before its body just slump and the light leaves its eyes.
I pick up my javelin and just put it over my shoulder like a person who carries the fish over their back, as it's just like not even taking it off the spear. One down, where are the parents?
I hate this. This is the biggest dichotomy I hated that. Like, my stomach turned, but like wrong character. Wrong character. Andrew is just like, yeah, I don't fucking care.
I know it's rough, but you gotta keep it in that character, man.
Yep.
Is there any character in the party that would care other than Zacky's character who's not here?
Fuck.
Probably not.
I mean, that's the funny thing. If Zaku was here, Zaki would be totally talking me out of murdering a baby fox. But he's not here, so Zaki's gonna have that on his conscience. Zaki caused the death of a baby fox.
I'm just curious. I want to see if I were to hit. Damn. I don't know. Does
I
it
think
hit a
that's-
baby fox's AC?
I think that does.
I mean, it depends if it's got more than a +1 dex. It's
Fair. All right. Anyhow. Yeah. So.
All right, so next, Gant, what are you going to do for food? So that's 1 success.
I'm actually gonna go back to the family and ask if they know any particular favorite spots for like hot spots for game. What do you suggest?
Damara speaks up first and just says, we're not too familiar with this area, as we tend to hunt more in the forest around our home, but, I mean, there's plenty of fish in the lake if you want to give fishing a try. And she kind of gestures to the fishing net that she just kind of finished up with tying.
All right. Well, I'll take your word for it. Mind you, wait, this is like we're like in a frozen tundra kind of place, right? Like very wintry.
Yes.
Oh well.
So what are you going to try to do to get food?
Yeah, I'm gonna do the fishing just because they said so.
Okay. Roll me. I'll say survival check.
Can I say, you mind giving me a hand?
Nope, you gotta do this yourself.
All right, fine. So survival, you said?
Mhm.
Okay. Let me see my roll first.
Hey!
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll leave it at that.
At first, Damara kind of shows you the ropes of what to do, of just sort of tossing the net, waiting for the line to begin kind of shaking, and then kind of drawing in what gets caught up in it. You're a pretty quick learner as you follow her motions and do the same thing, managing to get a good catch of fairly large fish. It should feed quite a few people.
Yeah. Like this? Is this what you meant?
You're a natural.
Yeah. I appreciate it. You know, it just comes from a good teacher, you know?
Oh, you're too kind. You see a embarrassed little flush kind of come to her face. And
I
now...
appreciate it. And then tap him on the shoulder. That's it.
Okay.
Right back.
Andrew, what are you gonna do?
After seeing whatever the fuck that was earlier, Andrew is going to march off into not exactly like out of sight, but as close to like a sort of hedge that the trees and dead bushes and whatnot can kind of create, and he's going to look for anything that might be taking shelter in there.
Okay. So you're like looking for locations where it might look like animals have kind of bunkered down?
Basically.
Roll me investigation. Or perception.
Oh, no, I'm taking investigation. Fuck!
Oh.
You spend quite a bit of time wandering around. You find it a little difficult to kind of really focus on, you know, tracking, as you're still kind of irritated by all these events. Like, you were, like, why are you here? Why are you with these people? Like, seriously, there are so many better things you should be doing right now.
1000%. It's just his itch that was in his hair just kind of begins to slowly kind of grow to his neck. And he's just kind of subconsciously doing so as he continues looking and just kind of throws his hands up every single time he doesn't fucking find anything.
All right, that's one failure. Amara, what are you going to do?
Newt, you'll help me find something, won't you? If you spot anything.
Oh, yeah, of course.
She'll take a look around.
All right, are you just looking around, or are you trying to encourage Newt to do the work?
I guess they'll both take a look.
So looking around?
Yeah.
All right. Perception.
Oh,
Hey!
All right. Kind of keeping an eye out. There's quite a few times where you actually kind of notice Newt seems to actually have no idea what he's doing, and realize you could not rely on him at all. So you take over as you do a quick glance around the area and notice a set of hooved prints in the snow. Kind of leading Newt and the others over towards it, you spot a rather large deer. Elk, I should say, actually. Its antlers, like, stretch out like 5 large, I wouldn't say fingers, but branches. It's probably one of the largest elks you've ever laid eyes on, actually. And with your keen eye spotting this, your group is able to swiftly and quickly take the creature down before it even notices your guys' presence. And with that, bring back all of your findings. A baby fox, helping a fish, and a giant elk.
So what are you? You seem to be coming back empty-handed. Did you have any issues?
Yes, right. Found, I think it was a deer. It escaped.
Ah, well, I'm sure your aim will get better with time.
Yes, right.
Well, it's alright. I've got one here.
Oh, Miss Harlot, I suppose, I did find this fox. The meat on it won't be much, but
Well.
you might be able to make a, nice fetching hat or something with it.
Miss Bear.
Yes.
Sorry, I didn't hear what else you said.
Oh,
just
I would-
wanted to...
Oh, I was just saying that, perhaps you could use the fur of this animal once we're done gutting it for meat.
Hmm. That could be a good idea. I keep slipping out of the accent.
No, you're
No,
good.
we
Accents are
are
hard.
we are all getting used to this.
Yeah, indeed. My accent's easy, pompous asshole.
So is mine. Pompous ass.
Also, spotting.
I am also
spotting,
pompous asshole.
I think we got a name for our group, the pompous asshole.
Pompadours.
The
Oh my God.
pompadours. We're the pompadours.
spotting the creature that you have just like tossed over your shoulder. Damara kind of her happy smile kind of shifts a bit into a uncertain frown as she says, oh, I guess I should have realized you all are probably not familiar with Drodale's customs. We try not to kill creatures that aren't gonna offer well enough food. I mean, there's not enough meat on that little thing's bones for a meal.
I'm sure you could make a soup out of it.
I tried to tell him.
Roll me a deception check.
Okay.
Okay. She just kind of sighs and lets it go with a nod of her head.
It has such like telling on parent, like telling on is like, mom, you know, I tried.
I was thinking about Amara just adding on to the deception and nodding along, being like, yep, he did.
Were
That's
you-
a Miss Harlot
I mean,
bitch.
would you have been there for the hunt with me, or were you too busy getting your deer or your?
She'd still do it to fucking sow chaos.
I mean, Roderick literally doesn't care.
All right. With that, Porco puts his hands on his hips and gives a small, a satisfied nod as he just says, "Well, I think you've all earned your trip back with us. Some more than others." He looks to the elk and the baby fox.
Hey, I still got more than nothing.
Amara just beams.
Well, maybe it was a baby deer, and Andrew was just trying to, you know, be polite. So
It's all right, Andrew. Here's a mishap, you know. Probably the snow got in your vision, you know.
he starts walking forward like you're not talking to him. I'm so sorry.
You want to help me debone these? Oh, okay. I guess that's a no.
I'm so sorry.
Now you're good.
I'm under the fucking table.
Well, I suppose we should head back to your village where this beast awaits.
Yeah, you'll probably want to first talk to the leader first. He can probably tell you more about it.
Oh, is he your mayor?
No, he's the selected. And see him put up air quotes, noble house.
Oh, a noble house indeed.
Do
What
I-
family is he from?
The Drodens.
I
Do
mean,
either of us know who the Drodens are?
Yeah, it's just like every single major town recognized by the monarchy has a leading noble house that sort of founded the place, and their family kind of takes over the leadership role through the generations. The Drodens are the one who found and settled within Drodale.
Now, this is an important question that might be relevant, Nikki. Would I have met them in the tourneys?
Hunting tournaments, you would have heard of them.
Interesting. Surprised they haven't taken care of the beasts themselves.
The man kind of shrugs and just says,
Well, I mean, last I heard, his son has been talking about going off and searching for it. But Thorn keeps telling him, it's a bit of a suicide mission if he goes by himself.
Well, then, I guess he can accompany us if he seeks glory.
he looks you up and down slowly, and then kind of rubs the back of his neck. He just says,
Yeah, I think you and Grom would get along really well.
Would or wouldn't? Sorry, I didn't hear that right.
would.
Gotcha.
So he kind of gestures with his chin over towards the boat.
Well, let's all get packed on in.
Newt looks towards you, Amara, as he's quickly like crouching down to kind of make a grab for the elk. He's like,
Oh, don't worry, I got this. You don't have to worry at all. Don't lift a hand.
In mid-sentence, she just nods and walks off.
That is so real.
very poorly attempts dragging the creature by the horns and is failing, so his father comes and helps.
Roderick looks over at us. Boy, you have to do more work. You have to get them muscles up if you ever wish to be a true warrior. And I will just walk the horse onto the boat.
And you stayed and watched silently, seeing him struggle. And then he walks away.
Everyone's an asshole.
This is horrible. I love it.
Dude, Nikki, you know how much worse it would have been if you said, yes, they are part of the Raiders culture. I'm like, oh, well, we have a boat, guys.
I feel like giving a helping hand or attempting to.
Okay, roll a athletics check with advantage because you have help.
Yay. Wait, athletics, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Not on here. Oh, it's right here.
Advantage. Yeah.
Wow.
Blows his back.
Oh.
Oh, God!
You make an effort to help, Gant, as you kind of grab the opposite horn that Newt is holding on to, and it's just kind of both you just go like trying to pull on it, until eventually Porco kind of walks over and just heaves up the creature by the midriff, between his very large forearms, and just says,
Don't hurt yourself. Get in the boat.
Well, I just approached it the wrong way, so my bad. Honest mishap.
Newt kind of just nods along with you, like,
Oh, yeah, no, like any other situation, we totally could have, handled that, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And so you guys all gather yourselves onto the boat and kick off from the port to head in the direction of the town of Drodale. And with that, tonight's session will end.
Woo.
I had a lot of fun.